Just about anything you can think of, someone is a fan of. Doesn't matter if it's exotic and expensive or memorabilia that's truly out of this world. In this week's show, we're looking at collectibles. Our centerpiece story comes from a galaxy far, far away. You guessed it. Die-hard Star Wars fans always find space for a few toys, and sellers have come to expect new items flying off the shelf.
I've got Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, some offshoot characters like Ponda Baba. He was one in the original movie, the Jawas.
Then a whole universe of cars under one roof. It's right here.
These cars, you could go to a Porsche store or a VW store, buy the car, put a license plate on it, drive it home, drive it to the racetrack on Sunday. They were street legal race cars.
Plus a classic toy that never goes out of style. Step into the dollhouse where a Barbie can bring riches, although for many it's the memories that are priceless. We'll have those stories along with the latest in our Positively Healthy Medical series. I'm Amy Osher and this is Behind the Headlines. I'm Amy Osher. Thanks for joining us. It's a force to be reckoned with. Star Wars collectibles are serious business with galactic payouts for early action figures, and every time a new movie comes out, fans go into a frenzy. Star Wars fans inhabit a world of their own, surrounded by Jedis, stormtroopers, princesses, and villains. They don't just love it, they live it. And Brian Chandler makes his living off fan addicts.
I get new stuff in all the time, so, every time they come in, there's always something different to see.
He carries a variety of Star Wars loot in his Fort Myers comic book shop. Most in demand are classics from the 70s and 80s.
Vintage stuff all the time. That's a gimme. The old figures, the old play sets, the old books, that kind of thing.
Some Star Wars toys that sold for $10 back in the day now fetch upwards of $10,000 if you find them in original unopened packaging. Do the collectors like these? Maybe the most collectible are the action figures. Everyone who's anyone has one.
I've got Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, some offshoot characters like Ponda Baba. He was one in the original movie, the Jawas.
These might satisfy the casual fan. The good stuff stays under lock and key.
Well, my coolest thing, and I did this myself actually, is my clone trooper helmet here that I've gotten signed by several of the actors.
A collector would pay dearly for this. It took Brian years to get all the autographs.
Dave Prowse, the original Darth Vader, he's actually retired from public appearances now.
Every time a new episode premieres, it awakens a force of fans, hitting the stores to expand their universe. Like Yoda says,
"Do or do not. There is no try."
It's the hardcore collectors are doing it because they like Star Wars. That's, they grew up on it. It's fun to collect stuff. There's a lot of it to get.
Think of all the merchandise that's changed hands in the 40 years since the original debuted. That's a long, long time we've been spying on a galaxy far, far away. A high-priced racy car rolling down the road in Southwest Florida rarely raises an eyebrow, but there are some cars that make your mouth drop. Everyone can appreciate them, but only a true collector will own one.
Welcome to the Revs Institute. My name is Mark Kessner. I'm a docent here at Revs. Here at the Revs Institute, we have 115 cars. We're a little bit different here than most other car collections in that none of the cars have a velvet rope around them. So you can get as close to the cars as you want. The Automobility Gallery sort of tracks the genesis between organic transportation, we're walking, we're riding our horse, to mechanical transportation. We're riding our bicycle, eventually we're driving cars. And so here we go into the Automobility Gallery. Here's the oldest car in the collection, an 1896 Panhard Elevator. This is called a wagonette, and you've heard the expression horseless carriage. Well, here's a horseless carriage in real life. Around the corner we've got two Duesenbergs, the Duesenberg brothers in Indianapolis, Indiana. Their charge was to make the best car that America has ever seen, and they did that. When you bought a Duesenberg, this is what you got, a bare chassis. You then went to your favorite coach builder and had him put a body and interior on. This is about $6,500 in 1930. A house might have been $1,000 back then. The body and interior was another $6,500. If you were wealthy enough to own a Duesenberg, you probably had a winter body and a summer body for your car. So these cars were for only the wealthiest of the wealthy, heads of state, Hollywood actors, things of that nature. Here we are going into the Porsche gallery. We have Porsche purpose-built race car serial number 01. They made 4 of these cars. 04 is in Stuttgart in Porsche's collection. 03 is in Jerry Seinfeld's collection. 02 is missing in action. Nobody knows where that car is. And you're looking at serial number 01. So this is the first purpose-built Porsche race car, period. Very, very important car in the collection. The other cars in the collection, they're known as Spiders, small displacement, air-cooled engines, very different than anything else that was racing at the time. They were 1.5 liters, and they were regularly beating 3 and 4 liter cars. They became known as the giant killers. They're Spider configuration, which means they have no top. They're aluminum bodies. These cars, you could go to a Porsche store or a VW store, buy the car, put a license plate on it, drive it home, drive it to the racetrack on Sunday. They were street legal race cars. Here we have a Mercedes 1939 W154 Grand Prix car. They called these cars the Silver Arrows. 3-liter, 12-cylinder, twin superchargers, 400 horsepower, 9 oil pumps, runs on a toxic chemical combination of methyl alcohol, nitrobenzene, sulfuric ether, and acetone. Lovely stuff. 105 gallons, carried in front of the driver and behind the driver. This was a 190-mile-an-hour car, could spin the tires in any gear. They made 14 of these cars, only 2 left that still run. Our car and Mercedes has one of these cars in their collection as well. Very, very important car in the collection. And before we leave this car, let me point out all the safety equipment that is built in for the driver. Absolutely nothing, not even a seatbelt. This is 1948 Ferrari 166 Spider Corsa. This is actually the first racing Ferrari to hit the shores of the United States. Briggs Cunningham purchased this car. He saw Luigi Canetti racing this car in Europe. He purchased the car, brought it into the United States, and it's got Enzo Ferrari's DNA deep in this car. It's a very, very early Ferrari, and again, the first racing Ferrari to hit the shores of the United States. Have you heard the expression, a wolf in sheep's clothing? Let's go look at one. Here's a 1938 Alfa Romeo 2900B Berlinetta with a body by Touring. This looks like a luxury car. It's actually a full-blown Grand Prix race car in street car clothing. Here's a photo of our car winning the 1947 Mille Miglia, crossing the finish line. It's a tubular space frame chassis. It's all aluminum body, weighs 2,200 pounds. This car would be equally at home racing on a Sunday afternoon and at the valet stand at the opera on Sunday evening. The most important difference that we have here at the Revs collection is that all the cars in the collection run, and with the exception of 6 or 7 cars, they're all taken out of the building and exercised on a regular basis.
From Barbie dolls to baby dolls, collectors are showing them lots of love. While many of us outgrow these playthings, others hang on to them to save or sell. Buying and selling is at the heart of most hobby collections, but when it comes to doll collecting, many of those who love it have a passion for preserving. For Martha Simmons, it stirs up childhood memories.
I have one doll that's a little tiny china head, and I bought it when I first started collecting from an antique dealer, and she said the man who brought it in said it was his doll. He had only been allowed to hold it for 1 hour every Sunday afternoon. Some children only had one doll their entire lives, where we have dolls now that kids are getting 4, 5, 6 times a year, sometimes 6 and 7 dolls at a time. They just don't have the respect for things.
The news press met up with Martha prior to an annual doll show. Her collection is displayed throughout her Fort Myers home. Many of the ones she collects are antiques, prized for their history and the clothes they wear. Another fashionista is the Barbie doll. Introduced in 1958, it was the first teenage doll to hit the market. Vintage Barbies are also in demand. The first generation goes for anywhere between $8,000 and $29,000. Coming up, listening to your heart, what you should expect from a cardio checkup. That's up after the break.
Life here is amazing, and so is the joint care. At the Total Joint Center at Physicians Regional Healthcare System, we've changed the experience of joint replacement for good. With our comprehensive joint care program, most hip and knee replacement patients return home in just 2 days, because we know you want to get on with your active life. Pain-free living starts at Physicians Regional Medical Center, Collier Boulevard, and Physicians Regional Medical Center, Pine Ridge.
Hiring the right moving company is important. Best Moving and Storage is a family-owned and operated business serving Southwest Florida for over 22 years. From our free in-home estimate until the last piece of furniture is in your new place or stored in our climate-controlled warehouse, we treat you like family. Best Moving and Storage is fully licensed and insured, with all of our employees being certified drivers and packers. When it comes to protecting your treasured belongings, choose a company that's experienced and trustworthy. Call Best Moving and Storage today at 239-592-6565.
Find the lifestyle you love at Bears during Tommy Bahama Month. Save half off on all Tommy Bahama and Lexington designs. Hurry in for spectacular values, like this queen bed for $16.89, or this island-inspired sofa just $19.98. Shop exclusive Tommy Bahama products only at Bears. You can't buy it for less anywhere else, guaranteed. In stock, ready for immediate delivery. Tommy Bahama Month, final days.
My name is Steve Unser, and cabinetry is my specialty. I have been creating custom designed cabinetry for 20 years in Southwest Florida. And now I am celebrating the grand opening of our new Naples showroom. Steve Unser Cabinetry will help you design your kitchen, bath, or home office with stunning results, offering the best quality of cabinets with a wide variety of design options and pricing to fit any budget. If your kitchen isn't becoming to you, you should be coming to us. Now 2 locations to serve you.
An important aspect of lowering heart disease is understanding your risk. It begins with taking a look inward, hence the importance of cardiovascular screening. We look at what to expect in this week's Positively Healthy. More people in this country die as the result of cardiovascular disease than from all the cancers combined. And many people don't realize they have a ticking time bomb in their chest.
It's good to have a baseline assessment.
Dr. Sarah DeLeon Manson is a cardiologist with Physicians Regional Medical Group. Similar to cancer screening, she believes we should be proactive with heart screenings.
Usually that involves an EKG, basic lab work like fasting lipid panel, hemoglobin A1C, a blood count, kidney number, liver number. All of those things put you at a certain risk category.
The results of your routine screening allow your doctor to work up a personal risk assessment.
Those diagnostic tests combined with your family history and level of activity and stress level, all of these come together.
Gauging your cardio risk is not as clear-cut as it used to be. Your doctor is well-versed in the latest research and well-equipped in determining areas that may impact you in the future.
The middle-aged women who had a history of, let's say, preeclampsia or gestational diabetes may not be aware that later on in life they're more prone to develop hypertension and hypercholesterolemia.
The benefits of a baseline may not be apparent for 10, even 20 years, but doctors believe it's worth the effort.
If symptoms occur, then you have something to compare it to.
It comes down to getting a pulse on your heart health. Now we're going to take a walk into the daily newsroom for a look at what our reporters are covering on the beat.
Thanks, Amy. So after Hurricane Irma, Collier County was slow to get FEMA trailers. And we found out that one of the reasons it was so slow down here is because there was a 2-week delay in the request for the trailers. We're still trying to track down what caused the delay. It seems like a miscommunication between the county and the state. The county put in the request right away, a few days after the hurricane hit. But the state didn't forward that request on to the feds to actually get the trailers here until 10 days after it got it. So that's nearly 2 weeks of more people living in their cars, living in tents, really worrying about how they're going to find housing. because the request just never came to FEMA. So find out more about it on naplesnews.com.
Hi, I'm Shelby Reynolds. I'm a features reporter here at the Naples Daily News, and on Wednesday I will be covering a new exhibit opening at the Naples Zoo. It's called Penguins in Paradise, and this will be the first time the Naples Zoo is getting penguins. It's actually a traveling exhibit that will be here until April, and these are African penguins, so they actually like the subtropical environment here in Southwest Florida. So you can find that story online at naplesnews.com or in the newspaper on Thursday.
Hi, I'm Harriet Heighthouse, arts and entertainment writer for the Naples Daily News. If you're looking for jazz, country, oh, maybe classical, or barbershop, you could look in a concert hall, but in Southwest Florida, you can also look in church. We have a schedule of all the events coming up in today's Naples Daily News and naplesnews.com.
Our last stop is with Brent Batten and his weekly commentary. Brent?
Thanks, Amy. So, we're talking about collectibles. I like collectibles. Not collecting them, mind you. What I like is making fun of people who collect collectibles. The people who buy toys, then keep them in the boxes. Or baskets that you stack in a corner as showpieces, never using them to carry anything, lest they be damaged. Or sports memorabilia that is never used to play sports. Is there anything sadder than a baseball in a plastic case that never gets to bring joy to a little kid through the simple act of throwing and catching it? My favorite collectible of all time was the Beanie Baby. You remember them? Little stuffed animals with tags you weren't supposed to remove. And God forbid a child should ever pick one up. I had a family member that used to collect Beanie Babies. She'd show me a recent acquisition and say, "This one is worth $500. I'd say, "What makes it worth $500? Is it stuffed with gold dust?" "No," she'd say, "the book says it's worth $500. In 10 years, it'll be worth $2,000. It's been more than 10 years since that conversation. I'm pretty sure if my relative went to the landlord and said, "I don't have the money for rent, but here's a Beanie Baby worth $2,000, he'd say, "Beanie who?" You know what I like to collect? Money. Money is a good collectible. It's got fancy engraving on it and pictures of famous people. I don't have to keep it in a special case, and I can touch it all I want without diminishing its value. And I don't need a book to tell me how much it's worth. It says so right on the front. In my world, we play with the toys, snuggle with the stuffed animals, and we toss the ball around in the yard. And we put stuff in the baskets, preferably money. I'm Brent Batten. Be sure to read my columns on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays in the Naples Daily News. Check me out on Facebook, and as always, thanks for watching.
Still ahead, keeping your eye on the prize. Cracker Jack collectors are always up for a sweet surprise. That's waiting for you after the break in Behind the Headlines.
Find the lifestyle you love at Bears during Tommy Bahama Month. Save half off on all Tommy Bahama and Lexington designs. Hurry in for spectacular values, like this queen bed for $16.89, or this island-inspired sofa just $19.98. Shop exclusive Tommy Bahama products only at Bears. You can't buy it for less anywhere else, guaranteed. In stock, ready for immediate delivery. Tommy Bahama Month, final days.
The area's only 30 minutes or less ER service pledge means you'll find less waiting for the care you need. And because we're full service hospitals, a lot more care if you need it. Less waiting, faster care. Only at Physicians Regional Healthcare System.
My name is Steve Unser, and cabinetry is my specialty. I have been creating custom designed cabinetry for 20 years in Southwest Florida. And now I am celebrating the grand opening of our new Naples showroom. Steve Unser Cabinetry will help you design your kitchen, bath, or home office with stunning results, offering the best quality of cabinets with a wide variety of design options and pricing to fit any budget. If your kitchen isn't becoming to you, you should be coming to us. Now, 2 locations to serve you.
Is your auto insurance keeping pace with your life? Ask for a AAA Triple Check Insurance Review to see if your current policy is still a good fit. An agent will assess changes in your life, like new vehicles or drivers. Make sure you've got the right coverage and all the discounts you deserve. They'll also see how a AAA membership can round out your protection on the road. Plus, provide roadside assistance, discounts, free services, and vacation extras. Ask for your AAA Triple Check today.
Moving to a new home or just want to freshen up your current home decor, we've got style tips for you. We're going to hand off to Sue Huff in this week's Inspired Living.
Alan, these are beautiful, beautiful dining room tables. You said they're the Havana collection. Tell me more about them. Tell me, get a little bit more detail.
Yes, this is a beautiful new collection from Stanley. And the influence or the inspiration is the old Havana, old Cuban styles. When many Americans and many homes, the influence in that country was the open and airy but classic traditional look. So you'll see they're made in mahogany.
Beautiful.
Some of the tabletops are absolutely beautiful figured woods.
And I'm noticing there's different colors.
Yes, the beauty of this collection, even though it's traditional, they also offer the freshness of some painted finishes.
Right, so this one is painted, the painted bottom, the beautiful. And tell me about this one over here that's gorgeous.
Well, the round table, we have it set up with the leaf to make it into an oval, but it has this beautiful radiant sun pattern worked into the tabletop. So just the way mahogany really shows off.
And the inlays, you don't really see that as much anymore as you used to. This is just really quality work.
Yes, yes.
And tell me, you know, sometimes people buy a new home, they move into a new condo, and there's that stress of like, what's going to fit? How's it all going to work together? Tell me why people should come to Bears and bear their stresses to you.
Well, the advantage Bears has is we have years of experience. We have 16 stores in Florida, and at this particular store, we have 10 designers that are always ready to help people make selections, and there's no additional charge.
So there's no additional charge. I say, I have a clean slate, I have a new home, I want it to feel like me. You're going to be able to do that.
Exactly. Even if it's not a clean slate, many people come to us to help them integrate some of their other furniture with new pieces so they become a more seamless look. So that can be something that is another reason why a professional, the people that have experienced many different design trends, and how we can give an updated traditional look to the home.
Alan, I think we have the answer. We just come to Bears to get all of our answers for our new home.
Thank you. Yes, I think that works.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
Coming back full circle to collectors, these folks are Cracker Jacks in that department. Would you believe there are get-togethers for people who love this sweet, salty treat? Or maybe it's the toy surprise. At any rate, this comes to us from the USA Today Network.
We've been meeting for approximately 21 years as a group, a core group of people, of the average age of which is me. I'm age 68, and I represent the core age of people that nostalgically identify with Cracker Jack and the toys that were inside. Cracker Jack began pre-1900, so you will see items here from the late 1898 through to today. So over 100 years worth of prizes that represent Cracker Jack.
One quick little piece before we head out. This is for my daughter and all the other Hello Kitty lovers. A retired Japanese policeman is humble bragging that he has the world's largest Hello Kitty collection. His apartment is jam-packed with kitties of all shapes and sizes. He says he spent most all of his retirement on it. Not sure if his wife would rather say goodbye rather than hello, kitty. As for us, we're saying goodbye. That does it for this edition of Behind the Headlines. You can always catch up on past shows by logging on to naplesnews.com. On the left-hand side under Quick Links, select Behind the Headlines. I'm Amy Osher. See you back here next week.
So here's something you don't see very often, a green Ferrari. This is a 1962 Super America with an aerodynamic body by Pininfarina. They made 14 of these cars. Now, you couldn't just walk into your Ferrari store and put your deposit down and wait a year for your car to come in. No, you had to have some pull with the factory. Well, the owner of this car had some pull with the factory. In fact, his name was on the door. This was Enzo Ferrari's personal car. He used this car as a daily driver for a little over a year, brought the car back to the factory, touched up some stone chips on the nose, changed the brown cloth interior to black leather, ground off the serial number, put a new serial number on, and sold the car as new. Could you do that today? Of course not. But back in 1963 or 64, if your name is Enzo Ferrari, you do pretty much whatever you want with a Ferrari.